Stopping by the kitchen today is Joakim Noah, brought to you by Vida Coco.
He is irritating. He is interesting. He plays for the Chicago Bulls. Let's see if we can irritate him a little bit. Joakim, describe for us your last year at Florida.
My last year at Florida was a blast. I had so much fun. We won a lot of basketball games, and then at night we partied, and and we did our homework too sometimes.
I want to hear about that, though. I mean, your life had to be a party that whole year. I want to hear about that. What were the parties like?
Well, let me tell you the truth. I mean, I think that it's not really appropriate to talk about it on TV, but, you know, one day if you want to, you know, we can grab a beer and I'll tell you all about it.
You had more fun at Florida than Tebow, didn't you? You had more fun at Florida than anyone in the history of Florida.
Listen, Tebow is the guy who got the most love in terms of, you know, what he brought to the table. But I promise you that Tebow did not have as much fun as I had. Way more fun than Tim Tebow. We went to school at the same time too.
At the history of Florida, in the history of Florida, who's had more fun than you? Give me a name. Somebody, anybody. Yeah, nobody.
No.
Percentage of classes you went to that year?
My junior year?
Last year.
Let's talk about what the percentage of my freshman year.
No, let's talk about your junior year. What percent? Let's break down the percentages. If you want to do it that way, let's do it that way. Freshman year, you went to how many classes?
Freshman year, I went to all my classes. I had to. Sophomore year, when we started winning, it started getting a little trickier. But I was still going, and then my junior year, it was a battle. It was a battle. They were waking me up at 5 o'clock in the morning, making me run, and I was just telling the guys that it was what they were doing was just making me better.
Give me a number.
Why are you doing this to me?
Because it's funny, and you're one of the few guys in sports who would actually answer the question. That's why.
I'm trying to tell these kids to go to school, man, and you're trying to get me to tell a percentage.
Yeah, I'm gonna press you one more time. No.
No, I'm not giving you the answer to that. I'm not gonna lie.
All right, that's fine. You kind of answered it anyway. How would you describe your upbringing? It had to be unusual. What was unusual about it?
Well, I think that my father being a pretty popular figure in France, just everything that he has to deal with, and just being famous and all that. You know, being a kid, you know, you don't want to, you know, share your father with all these people. I just wanted to spend time with him. It was hard at times because, you know, he was always in the media and saying all kinds of crazy things. But yeah, I think that's pretty unusual. But at the same time, it helped me just understand what the whole process is all about.
Do you wish he had been around more? I mean, the sport is so consuming, and being excellent at sports is so consuming. Do you wish he had been around more?
My pops? Yeah, I wish my pops was around more. You know, it's hard. As a kid, you know, you don't understand why, you know, there's so many constraints on seeing my pops. You know, my parents divorced at a young age, but just not having him around all the time was hard, but I would say he's a great father because he was always there for us, making sure that we were doing all right.
Do you enjoy being a villain?
Do I enjoy it? I like energy. So whether it's positive energy or negative energy, it gets me going. So I like playing on the road, and I think that hate fuels me to play even harder. So I like that.
And so when did you start soaking that in and enjoying it? From the start?
I loved it from the start. I loved it. Always loved it.
Really? So do you remember the first time you walked into an arena and were hated?
I mean, I remember from high school. I remember coming from France and arena screaming USA, USA, and that would get me going. And when I got to college, you know, it was always like, Noah, cut your hair, or show some class, and just in those kind of it got worse, but it was cool. I love that stuff.
What's the most broken basketball has left you?
I think anytime you lose, I think the end of the years, playing in the playoffs, this was a really hard one for me. You know, just seeing Derek go down, then me go. I really felt like we had a chance to win the championship this year, and you know, unfortunately, you know, we lost pretty early, but we were a really focused group, and it was tough to go out the way we went out this year. But you know what? All these tough times, I think, is only going to make us stronger.
So were you happy seeing LeBron win like a lot of players were, or did it infuriate you because you thought you could have and should have been there?
Was I happy that he won? Definitely not happy. I mean, I wasn't sad either. You know, I didn't really pay attention to it. You know, I didn't really have too many. I didn't really feel too much about it. I just turned it off.
You grew up with a Garnett poster in your bedroom?
Yes.
And when you played against him, some things happened, correct?
Yes.
Tell us about him.
Nah, KG is well. I think it also comes with, you know, you grew up idolizing somebody, and now all of a sudden, you know, you're caught up in a battle against him. So I think that's something. It was definitely strange for me, you know. But he put me in check right away, and you know, I understand the game now, just being a little bit older. But at the time, it was definitely it was crazy to me.
Well, how? How did he put you in check?
How did he put me in check? I'm not gonna show him that much love.
Have you ever had happen to you since then what happened with Garnett, where you're awed by somebody in your childhood, then you're playing against them?
Nah. No, only him.
My father has a question for you. Go ahead, Papi.
Do you think your coach looks like a butcher?
Do I think my coach looks like a butcher?
Yes, does he look like a butcher? He looks like a butcher. Come on, Joakim, he does. If I put an apron on him, it was a bloody apron, he kind of looks like a butcher.
Listen, my coach can make me run suicides. You guys don't make me run suicides, okay? So, nah, I love Tibbs. Tibbs, I love you, man. I would never fall for that. Don't worry, Tibbs. I love you, man.
Tibbs, I love you, but you look like a butcher. Joakim, thank you for being on with us. We appreciate it.
Cheers, guys.